question that I often hear from employees who tend to get very frustrated because they can't seem to get through to their bosses. Bosses are busy, they don't get the attention of their managers, and employees get frustrated simply because they may have some really good ideas and they get lost in the shuffle. So I want to share with you some principles and tips about how you can influence your boss, whether it's asking for a raise or sharing an idea or offering a suggestion that might benefit everybody. And these are from a LearnBytes Helpcard called Influencing Your Boss, Getting Heard. The first thing I want to talk about is some basic principles, because if you understand the basic principles about communicating with your boss, then you're much more likely to make the approach to your boss or manager more effective. Okay, so your ideas are much more likely to be accepted, to be heard, if the manager sees the ideas as a solution to problems that the manager considers important to solve. That's important because you have to take on the perspective, the point of view, if you like, of your manager. Number two, your ideas are more likely to be accepted if they're well reasoned in terms of both the pros and cons of your ideas. Managers like to have a balanced approach. Okay? They don't want to feel like you're an advocate for something. They want to feel like you've thought through something. So you need to portray that in how you communicate. The third principle: ideas that the boss is going to like are beneficial to the boss, the organization, and perhaps you, in that order. Remember again, perspective. Okay? Take on the point of view of your manager. Ideas are also more likely to be accepted if they're matched to the style of your boss. And some managers like everything to be presented in one piece. Other managers like to feel like they came up with the idea themselves. So your approach has to match your particular manager, which is one reason why you can't have a one-fits-all solution. Okay? So you've got to know your boss and what works for him or her, what doesn't. And finally, ideas are going to be heard by your manager if they're delivered with good timing, and that means when the need is felt, when the manager feels a need that you're addressing, and when the time is available. If you approach the manager at the wrong time, you're just not going to get a hearing. Okay, so you have to consider that. If there's a crisis going on, the manager is running around crazy, not the time to approach. Now, what about how the boss, the manager, perceives you? Are there things there that will make the manager more receptive? And there are. If the manager feels that you are interested in the good of your organization rather than your own self-centered reasons, you're going to get heard more. If your manager feels that you're knowledgeable and someone who consistently gets the job done when it needs to be done, you're going to get heard. If you are someone who, on the other hand, is perceived as whining, lazy, not dedicated, that kind of thing, forget about it. It ain't going to happen, even if your idea is really good. And finally, if the manager sees you as unbiased and open to other people's ideas, instead of dogmatic and hyper-focused, you're going to get a better hearing. Okay, now there's a bunch of very practical things that you can try. And number one, learn what drives your boss nuts. This is a key thing. Managers have a lot on their plates, and so if you can solve something and make your manager's life easier, sell it that way, then you're going to get a hearing. Okay? So again, you've got to find out what makes your manager tick. Okay, learn what kinds of information your boss wants to have and when. That's another piece of it. Okay, managers differ that way. And this one, and we'll make this the last one. Learn what makes your boss look good in the eyes of his manager. Okay. Everyone wants to impress everybody, especially those that are above them in the organization. If you can present something to your manager that's going to make him or her look good in the eyes of their manager, then they're going to pay attention. Okay, so just to sum up, and then the bottom line on this, you need to know your manager, you need to time effectively, and you need to understand that managers don't treat everybody identically, that they listen to some people, they don't listen to other people. No matter what you want to do, whatever your suggestion is, you want to be the kind of person that your manager listens to.